Hey guys, now I don't normally do unboxing videos, but today I'm going to make a slight exception after having picked this one up from my local Argos. And to be honest, for an item that was picked up, that was very much looked forward to, and I had a lot of joy when I found it on eBay. To see the condition it's come in as the package is, yeah, not filling me with a lot of confidence at all. Now, I must admit, I've never done an unboxing video before, and I have a traditionally terrible video manner, so inevitably there will probably be ball cuts and stuff up. So I'm doing this straight off the wrist and without editing, unless anything appears in the video which is covered under the GDPR. But as you can see, I've already taken some reasonable steps. As may be seen, it has been carefully delivered by Hermes, who, let's be honest, I mean, looking at this, it's pretty damn terrible. I mean, it's not so bad at this end, but as you go around, it gets worse and worse and worse. I only have manual pan. I mean, I'm shooting this on an iPhone 4 that I swapped with a mate a few years ago for 25 quid webcam. But just look at this. This is absolutely dreadful. It came to the store like that. Now, I'm sorry, you buy anything off eBay, you expect it to be handled better than that by whichever courier the seller has chosen to send the goods with. But it genuinely arrived like that. I actually had to say to the staff at the store that that it has to be noted as received damage, and they'd already signed it off as collected. Otherwise, if I'm honest, I'd have probably rejected it. It's absolutely atrocious. What an absolute shower of Brexit. Okay. So what should be in here is actually a very nice and quite rare retro computer. A British one made in the early 80s. Something that I've always had quite a fondness for. I mean, certainly the model itself. It's a portable computer of a particularly nice design, and you'll see it as it comes in, or what's left of it. So let's carefully make our way in. I will incidentally put a link to an archived copy of the auction in the video description, because thankfully one thing I always tend to do when I look at something or buy something on eBay is I do take a copy of the auction listing to archive.org or another archival service, so that way I have a permanent record of the item as it I know most people would probably use a knife at this point, but really I want to take as much care over this as I can. Okay, right. We'll be cutting through the address label. I have to take the rest of this from the other side, I think. Just hope my battery holds out. I did, but I will say that as soon as I got home from the store, let's just skim that over the top of the box there. When I got home from the store, I stopped, had to have a coffee because I needed to think. Put my phone on charge just to get some more charge in the battery, and then as soon as that was done, right, okay, I have to do this. Unfortunately, I don't have a head mount or anything that I can put the camera on. There. Yeah, let's be honest, this is... Right, I'll pop this down for a second. You should still be able to hear me. Right, okay, just going through the label. Okay. And finally, I've managed to do so. Let's open this up. We have packing paper, and it can quite clearly be seen just how damaged the box is. I'm pretty darn sure it wasn't like that when they sent it, when it went through. Well, when it was sent out. Here we go, a box full of packing paper. Massive void in the side. I've got to be honest, considering the state of the box, it looks like it's had a journey on Eurostar. Right, paper, power supply, more paper. Now, at this point, the older ones amongst you might start to recognise what this is, and I'll continue in that as I go in the video. I mean, the seller has made a good, I'd say they've made a fairly good effort to ensure the item's protected, although I must admit I would have probably used larger, well, for something like this I would have put it in an inner box like this with some padding, but then I would have put it in a larger outer box with a lot of padding between the two. Anyhow, here we have the power supply. Very, very heavy compared to today's models, and it's actually not coming out very easily, so I don't want to have to do this, but I'm going to have to pop it on there and just try and get the cables untangled. But yeah, some of the cables actually appear to be stuck in the bottom of the box. Right, there's the UK 3-pin plug, and I must admit, considering how things have been in recent times, I've been rather sceptical of stuff designed in the UK, but I have to be honest, I'd say that that's probably one of the best connected designs going, just because it can only be plugged in one way. It has a mandatory fuse and a mandatory earth. Right, okay, looks like the rest of the cable, and that's the primary side cable incidentally, was trapped under the computer, and again I don't think the seller sent it like that. So, we have the power supply, very heavy piece of kit, because of course back in those days everything was wire wound transformers rather than today's switching power supplies. I will just set that aside. And here we have the rest of the computer itself. It has a carrying handle, as can be seen. Oh. So again, more of you might understand what this is. I'm just going to set it down for the moment. It looks like there is a bit of GDPR-ness in the box, so I am going to just put the box down to one side for the moment. Pop this, and then we'll take a look at what was actually in there. So here we go. It has been wrapped in shrink wrap, as can be seen if I don't get my finger in the way. Sorry, not shrink wrap, bubble wrap. Patent packaging material, and there we go, yeah. Right, so let's open this out. Oh, sorry, I'm going to have to put that down again because this is really a two-handed job. Right, now the item can be seen a little clearer, and yes, the older ones amongst you will probably be screaming what this is by now. If I aim down a little further, you might even be able to work out which version of it was. Anyway, I'm going to pop this down again for a moment, and pardon my talking without looking at the camera or whatever, but again, as I said, this is a two-handed job. Let's get that poly wrap out of the way and continue with what's inside. So, it's not completely closed. yes, the backpack, as you will see if you follow the link from the from the video description, you will see what this was, and it is revealed. The bag is a bit scuffed, although that is as the item was described. Although, again, having seen the way that it, having seen the state of the box when it arrived, I must admit I am rather fearful of how this is going to look when I actually open it and check things like the display and what have you. Right. Well, yeah. Already we can see something already I can see one. Oh dear, goodness me. Right. There's the computer. Something I'd always wanted for a very long time. And we can see that there is some critical damage there to the one of the keyboard hinges. And then as I pulled it out of the bag, this became visible. So as you can see, some of the plastics have actually been broken off in transit. Well, there you go. Again, I bet that wasn't... Oh, hang on, I hear more things in the... I hear more things jingling away in the... Oh, I can't see anything in the rucksack. It might be something in one of the outer pockets. I will check those later. But... But it can already be seen by the fact that this piece of plastic is here that it's definitely taken quite some hard knocks in transport. And in fact, you can see by the fact that the plastic hasn't, the fact there's a break there and the plastic hasn't discoloured, that break is recent. So let's just turn this round to the way you would have it when you're actually setting it up. Because of course, the top here is the keyboard, which is sort of built in, if you like, and it hinges towards the user. But as we can see, there is some recent damage, recent as determinable by the fact that it's there's no discoloration here compared to the rest of the case. It may not be visible on the video, but you might be able to see a hairline crack running across here, which again shows that this has taken a tremendous amount of knocking on the way here. Now, you'll see from the archived listing description that the item was sold as spares and repair. So I wouldn't have a problem if I got it back, I turned it on and it didn't work, because that is the general nature of a spares repair item. But when seeing that, but when I order a spares repair item, I still expect it to arrive in more or less the same condition in which it would have been reasonably sent. Right, okay, I'm going to open up the keyboard. And as can be seen, this is it opened up. Now, the piece of plastic that I'd found sheared off in the bag rightly goes here, which means that that has actually affected the integrity of the hinge. It has definitely been broken off recently, definitely broken off in transit. You can actually see the hairline crack that I pointed out previously on the inside there. I don't remember the spacebar looking like that in the auction listing. Yeah. I will point out that the broken clips which secure the keyboard, that was a known issue with the item. However, this wasn't, nor was this. The auction description did not give listing description does not give that as a defect, and that's not visible in any of the photos on the listing. The screen, I must admit, does look to be in similar condition to that advertised. I'm sure you'll agree. In the auction photo, this slight defect in the bottom of the screen here is visible, so I'm not directly attributing that to transit damage. But that said, I do wonder what additional damage could have been done to the screen in transit. There you go. So we have that is how it should look, more or less. The only known defect, apart from possibly function, because of course it is sold as spares repair, so it's possible it may not work. The intention for me was to let's have a look at the back here. I don't feel any weakness there. That may be normal. Let's have a look inside. The telephone cable is present, which shows that the built-in modem is, obviously the modem would be fitted unless someone had removed it at some point in its lifetime. But no, those look okay. I think I can see some impact damage there. And if I and I'm going to need to get some light on the situation. Right. No, maybe from this angle. But you might just be able to see, I hold that there, that there is what looks like some impact damage running across this line here. It's probably not so visible in the video, but yeah. I think this is going to take a bit more than just 20 minutes probing with a meter and some retrobrite. I mean, you saw the condition of the spacebar when before I pressed it down, and you can see that if I press it from one side, you can see that the carrier bars become disconnected, or, given the way it's been handled, probably broken off. That has been broken off in transit, and that damage there has been done in transit for definite. Again, especially as with reference to the cleanliness and newness of the plastic at the brake, that shows that that has happened certainly within the last couple of days. So, I just hope the handle's got some integrity to it, because normally that's got to take the whole weight of the system, which on its own would be 5.5 kilos, or if you prefer old money, that's about £11. Right, let's just pop the Super Twist LCD down, which I hope hasn't been super twisted. I'll only know when I actually get around to starting to look at it properly, refurbish it. Just hope to goodness it's not completely destroyed. But yeah. So, an Amstrad PPC 640, sold on eBay, destroyed by Hermes. Quite possibly. What should have been a relatively simple electronics project has probably turned into something that I'm hoping is not outside of my ability to deal with. But yeah, what can we say? Other than, if you are selling retro computers on eBay or any other auction service, or by any means at all, whether that be by Amazon or whatever, don't send them with Hermes. Use a proper courier, and remember, the rights of the buyer are to receive goods as sold, which, although I'm sure that the seller has sent this in the condition it was sold as. It's certainly not been received in that condition by the buyer because of the misconduct of the courier. Aye. Well, it just goes to show. Caveat emptor. Achten Sie den Kaufen am eBay. Thanks an absolute bunch, Hermes. You will be responsible for all damages on the item and my additional charges as well, which are a buyer's right and a recipient's right. They're not constrained in any way by your terms and conditions, because that's a contract between you and the seller, the person who shipped the item. Your limitations do not apply to me as the recipient of the goods, and I can charge you whatever I see fit.